Welcome to the Autographers Anonymous podcast. This is episode 5. We are all autograph addicts here. We're going to go around the room. Mike.
What's up, guys? It's Mike, a.k.a. The Godfather, coming from the home office, and I love lamp. Oh,
Troy.
You know what movie that's from.
Yeah, anyways, go ahead, Troy. I'll do that later.
Hey, everybody. My name is TTM Troy, and I used to know how to do YouTube videos.
Oh, so sad.
I know.
My name is Zane Savage, and my mailbox is as barren as Betty White's womb.
Ooh.
Harsh, I know, but I thought it was funny. I don't know. At least I had to make an Anchorman joke from 2004.
Hey, happy holidays. Womb joke.
Just so you guys know, this is a public service announcement for our listeners. We have a weird schedule coming up because of Christmas and New Year. They both are on Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and do a show next week. Yes, you heard it. 2 weeks in a row, you're getting Autographers Anonymous. And then we're going to come back after Christmas, after New Year's on the 7th and do an episode. So it all equals out in the long run. But be here next week for back-to-back shows. It's amazing, right? Let's move on to new returns. And we'll start with the guy who has $1 million, Mike.
Small little stack. I got my usual TTM returns, the 4x6s, but I also made some purchases. Somebody was doing a, excuse me, after Black Friday sale, I don't know, Cyber Monday. So for about $25, I picked up 3 8x10s and then 11x14. I'll show the 8x10s first. This is a nice Fergie Jenkins, old Cubs photo, Hall of Famer.
I've seen his go. I've seen his signature go up lately. I don't know why, because he's signed so much. I don't know if he's in bad health, but that might be a good purchase.
And you know, it's something I needed. A Hall of Famer, you can't pass that up. This was $5, but it's Terry Pendleton. And if you guys watch baseball in the 80s, or in the 90s, you guys know from the Braves, the great teams. So why not for $5? Also, I picked this up. This is Greg Jeffries. And if you collected baseball cards in the late 80s, you guys know that name because he was supposed to be the big star, you know, the future 1980, 89 Topps card that everyone wanted. And this was the main reason I got it. This is the 11x14. This is the wrestler Sting. So this is his Black Crow makeup. And it is Beckett Authenticate, or Beckett Witnessed, I guess. But for $25, you know, I got an 11x14 and 3 8x10, so you couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Now on to the 4x6s. I'll try and get through these quickly. Got Gilbert Brown. He's a great Packer, defensive guy, 93. But he looked like he used to eat small children. That's the size of him. His nickname was Gravedigger.
I think we're
but he was just a monster on the field. So very cool return. NASCAR, Darrell Waltrip. Boogity, boogity, boogie, let's go racing. He was a great racer in his day, but he's an even better announcer, I think, in the booth. Signed 4. I usually don't send 4, so I think one of these was an extra. I usually send 3. But there he is with his car. And I love the old black and whites here. Old school NASCAR. Russ Francis was an old football player, and not a big name in the NFL, but I'll show you why I'm picking this one out. Played for the 49ers and added the Super Bowl, let's see, 10. I'm not good with Roman
15.
numerals.
Oh no, wait, no. Yeah, it's
14?
No,
20?
it's X1X. I don't know. I'm just as bad apparently.
But the reason I sent to him, if you guys remember WrestleMania 2, they had a bunch of football players that wrestled a gimmick match. But here he is right here. But you got the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, the late Jim the Anvil, and of course Andre the Giant. So just a very cool picture of a football player in a WWF ring.
He looks tiny.
He does.
Super Bowl 19, just a heads up. Super Bowl 19. I looked it up.
There you go. Robert Griffin III is signing through the Ravens address. He was great with the Redskins, and he went to Baylor University, so signing 2 of 2. So pretty cool. He's a big name back in the day, so nice to see him signing. If you guys remember, a few weeks ago I sent to Al Kaline with a $10 donation. He'll sign. I sent to him again because I specifically wanted this photo, which is him and Ted Williams. So a young Al Kaline and Ted Williams.
Got the full signature again.
Yep,
Lucky dog.
For $10, the nice, not I'm angry signature.
Here's a free signature.
Cool. Anybody who watches Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, probably recognizes this guy, Jonathan Banks. Over there. He was in The Incredibles, did some voice work as the agent. And one of my favorite movies, I think it's hilarious, Airplane.
Whoa, he's an airplane?
He was an airplane.
That's crazy. I had no idea. That's crazy.
So very cool. I actually got this one today. This is a double dip for me, but he's signing, so I took advantage. Great drummer for Motley Crue.
Wow, that's cool. Can you say that? Can you say it again? I think you cut out there, Mike.
Tommy Lee, the great drummer for Motley Crue.
See, I didn't even hear what you said, but I knew by the signature who it was.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah, signing 3 of 3.
That's good. That's a good return. That's like $150 in your hand right there.
He posted something. He doesn't want it sent to his home address, but he posted, I think, either his agent or a P.O. box, and he's glad to sign them, he said. So take advantage of that.
He doesn't sign with his hands, folks. He signs with something else. I'm kidding. Joke for all you. Never mind. Move on.
Another one I got today. TNA Wrestling former president Dixie Carter. Say what you want about wrestling in TNA, but she did well when she was there. Took a huge bump from Bubba Ray Dudley, went through a table, and she inscribed it, "Ouch, that hurts." So cool wrestling return. NASA. I always love sending these guys, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, but this is Frenick Pollock. And he is one of the designers of the lunar rover, the car that went on the moon. So a nice piece of history. Here he is with the other designers, just tooling around in the rover. But always enjoy getting the NASA guys. Let's skip this one.
Was that on the set of the moon landing that they did?
According to Steph Curry.
Yes. Steph Curry, yes. This movie is one of cinematic, the best ever, Gone with the Wind. This is Mickey Coon, who played Bo Wilkes. So here is the actual movie poster signed. And if you don't know who Bo Wilkes is, let's see. He was the little kid. Of course, there's Clark Gable. But just an iconic movie. So anytime you can get somebody associated with the movie, like Gone with the Wind or like Wizard of Oz, Those people are way up in age, so get them while you can. At a Star Wars return, this is George Robic. And of course, he is one of the Imperial officers in Star Wars A New Hope. So he is also up there in age, signing 3 of 3, coming from England, overseas.
Use those forever stamps?
I do. Makes it very convenient. This one I paid a donation for, I think $20. Getting a little shaky, but this is Don Larson, the Yankee great, who pitched a perfect game in the World Series, only person to do that. This one is inscribed to Archer, best wishes, Don Larson, S, World Series. And of course, this is a shot from the World Series game. And I sent to him specifically for this photo because I thought it was pretty cool. This is from the outfield looking in. So Larson's on the mound up here. But if you guys know anything about baseball, number 7, that's Mickey Mantle. And that is inscribed Don Larson, WSPG World Series perfect game, 10/8/56. So very cool inscription. Just real quick, I love my 84 Tigers. This is Bill Shear, blown up 85 Topps card. And here's the 84 Tigers win. And he is actually pictured in this photo. So it's hard to see the autograph, but 84 Tigers, awesome team. This one, another Star Wars return. This is Doug Chin. Here's a picture of him and George Lucas. He's a graphic arts designer. Did a lot of concept art for the Star Wars movies. Cool shot of Darth Maul.
Yeah, he did pretty cool work, didn't he?
Yep. But he also, here's Rogue One. But he sent this pretty cool. It's like it's cardstock, but a little sketch of one of the. So anytime I can get something hand drawn from these guys, it probably took him 30 seconds to do, but it's awesome looking.
Yeah. And on the cool stationery too, or the cardboard.
This is Leslie Ann Moore, great actress, but I love this shot. She was on the Muppet Show, hosted. You guys might remember her from the movie Pure Country. George Strait, and she played his manager and played Cinderella in one of the live action films. We see a t-shirt too from American Princesses Season 1. I'm not super familiar with the show, but I'm thinking that's right up your alley.
Getting all the free swag over there, man.
And last one is a huge personal return for me. Tracked down a private address, but this movie made me laugh out loud in the theater. This is Tina Fey, the movie Sisters with Amy Poehler. And she was a longtime writer and then cast member on SNL. There she is with Jimmy Fallon and the Weekend Update desk. And signed a third one, just a cool shot, but a huge get because
we know why it's a cool shot. We know why it's a cool shot, Mikey.
You want me to do it? Ding! Yeah, but just a cool return. So happy to add that one to my collection. But that's it for this week. So
very nice,
Mr. Troy.
All right, Troy boy.
Well, I had a few this week, just a few. But first one was I got a couple of those 87 Fleers that I found at Goodwill back, so that's cool. First one is Mike Lloyd of the Rangers. He's signed 2 of 1, so this is the one I sent, the 87 Fleer update. And then they also sent me, what is this? An 87 Topps. as well.
Did you prep those updates? Because they look glossy as hell.
No.
They smear?
I did not. Nope. Watch. Nope.
Oh.
I had to make sure. Okay.
Yeah.
that would have been funny. That would have been like that
clip worthy. We would have clipped it out and made it its own little video. And
that one Tech TV with Chris Perillo where the guy broke the 50-year-old computer thing.
Oh shit! Shoot.
That's a classic episode. He was 120 days, and then you got Bob Brower again on. Oh, they're both Rangers, same card or same thing, and both another one in 120 days, and then a couple of hockey. Too bad Mr. Summers isn't here. So, got Jeff Hackett. I really like these. Are the only hockey cards I've ever bought. These 90 or 90 scores. So I really like how they turn out. So Jeff Hackett, this was sent to his home in Canada and got him in 247 days. And
the nice thing about hockey cards, there's so much white on the card for them to sign. Because like the rink is white, like the boards in the back are white. Sometimes their jerseys are white. So no matter what, it's hard to screw a signature up, especially on those older cards that are matte.
Yeah, they're really nice. I really like this set. So they got Rob Blake as the final TTM return. This was sent to the LA Kings in 109 days, again on the same scorecard. So that's all for the TTMs, and then I'm going to talk about this here in a little bit. But I also did a subscription. My first ever subscription to the Autograph of the Month Club. And I'll show you those and talk about those a little bit later. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll tell some of the weird items I got in for my Fabric Fobs business just to throw something in there because I didn't get any TTMs. I got in Luke Wilson shoes from a movie. And I got in Bernie Mac's tie. Okay. So those have been chopped up thoroughly, put into fobs. So, yeah. Just throw a little thing in there. It's so I can say something at least. We're going to move on to the Collector Chronicles. We brought this in last week, and basically it's a little story that we can tell. We're going to tell our origin story over time. Troy did his last week. But this week we're not going to do an origin story. We're actually going to do a story that's an interesting one that I had. I wrote to a guy named Glenn Shaddix. If you don't know who Glenn Shaddix is, he was the more rotund man that was on Beetlejuice, the classic Tim Burton movie. And that's where I knew him from. He's been in several other movies. I think he was in several Tim Burton movies, if I'm not mistaken. I wrote to him in 2010, and I believe it was an email. And what Glenn did was he signed and was kind of building them up, and I guess he was going to ship them out all at once. So he signed several over the course of like a few months, and he was going to send them all out at once. Well, sadly, Glenn passed away after he signed my item, but before he shipped it out. So the item was sitting at his desk, and several months later, after he passed away, I get a letter from his sister, I believe it was. And she told the whole story of how he signed stuff and like what happened with the signature. And like he had this signed item to me. I still have it to this day. And it was sitting on his desk. He passed away. His sister found it and took care of his fan mail that was left over. So I have one of Glenn Shaddix's last signatures. And I know there's a lot of stories like that out there. And we'd be happy to hear yours. If you guys have one, if one of you guys listening, feel free to post that on Twitter or Facebook, Autographers Anonymous. You can find us. But I always find those interesting. There's good little stories behind TTMs. And those are usually, at least for me, those are my favorite. The ones that have a cool story to go along with the signature. Or I think it's pretty historic to have somebody just like one of their last signatures. I think that's, I know it's hard to prove sometimes. In this case, it's easy to prove because you have a letter, but it's always cool to have a little piece of history like that. Anyways, that's the Collector's Chronicles, a little short chronicle for you. We're going to move on to the topic, which is going to be quite long because I have a lot to say about it. This week's topic is how to make smart purchases. When do you buy an autograph? When do you decide, okay, now's the time? When do you hold off and say, well, probably right now is not the best time? Are there certain factors that go into that? And do we want to tackle this? I sell on eBay, as almost everybody knows. And I guess we should tackle it from that point first, since I do sell on eBay. And I do buy on eBay to sell on eBay, which sounds counterintuitive, but it actually works pretty well. And we've talked about dust before a little bit. I kind of want to delve more into rookies. And when it comes to sports collecting, people tend to jump on these brand new rookies that come up. And I think it's one of the worst investments you can make. Here's why. If you have a hot rookie, you're going to pay top dollar because that is the hottest card on the market. If you look at the market, usually the rookies of the up-and-comers are the hottest ones. So you're going to pay top dollar for somebody who could bust. So I don't think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck there. But yet people do it 24/7. Like, it's constant in the community. Like, that never changes. The rookie's the hottest. What do you guys think about that? And I'll tell you what I do, which I think is smart and is low risk and low cost. But what do you guys think about the rookie buys? Because those always drove me crazy.
It's the rookies, and the first or second year. It drives me nuts when I see, let's just say Jeremy Lin. Everyone remembers Lin Sanity, right? Yeah. A couple of years ago, the basketball player, his autograph was going for the price of Hall of Famers. And that drives me nuts as a collector. And everyone can make their own personal choices, but if I have the choice of a hot rookie or a hot player, or I can invest the same amount of money with a Hall of Famer, somebody that has proven themselves, that guarantee, they're in the Hall of Fame. They were one of the best players in their sport. I'm going to purchase the Hall of Fame autograph because, like Zane said, the person who's hot right now, let's say they get injured or they just flame out, that autograph is worthless.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mark Pryor, another example.
Yeah, he was a stud for a year or two, but then all of a sudden, where is he now? Is he in the Hall of Fame? No.
Yep. So, like, I would really if you're in a card collecting, and I'm not a major card collector, but I'm more of I come at it from what's an autograph worth and where does it at its peak and where is it at its low. Like, I feel like that's stupid. I'm sorry. I feel like it's kind of stupid to buy rookies at their highest. Now, what I do is I buy players in their third or fourth year that show promise and are usually flying under the radar. Mm-hmm. I do mass buys. So it's basically you're taking a small risk for a gigantic reward if they become an all-star. And there's several examples of people that fly under the radar. Victor Oladipo in basketball is one that recently happened. DeMar DeRozan was kind of that way, although he was known as a little bit of an all-star before that. But if you buy these people cheap, I'm talking like $1 or $2 for a certified auto card, and they become big time, one of the top 10 players in the league, you got yourself a major upgrade in price. Somebody I did this recently with was Kenton Bazemore. And you guys probably don't know who the hell is Kenton Bazemore. This is a guy that plays for the Hawks. And I believe he comes off the bench. He's a sixth man, but he just scores like 20 points a game or around that, maybe a little under that, coming off the bench. And he's starting to hang out with some like higher end people, like that podcast that Steph Curry recently got in trouble with. That was with Kent Bazemore and Vince Carter. So you start seeing stuff like that, and it starts giving you some insights on, okay, this guy has some possibility. I paid $100, or maybe it was $120. I think I got like 30 certified autos, a lot of them with game used jerseys in them. And I take it, I buy it, I store it away. Mm-hmm. And in 5 years, if Kenton Bazemore becomes an all-star, even an all-star, I can like quadruple my money easily. And if he becomes, one of the top players in the league, that's a stretch. But if it happens, then you're talking the big bucks. So have you guys ever done that? Have you guys ever bought a player cheap that had potential? Like an investment?
I don't really buy cards. You bust box every once in a while. I used to buy Derek Jeter's back when he was first getting started because I played ball against him. He was from my hometown. We played ball when he was a senior. So the Upper Deck SP card because I could pick him up cheap. I don't personally invest in cards because I grew up collecting cards, and I've got thousands and thousands of cards, and I don't think they're thing these days. And I think the only thing you're going to get a reinvestment is the one of tens or whatever the I don't even know what's called, short prints, and that's. I got out of that game a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those some of those short print rookies can go for crazy amounts of money. That's obviously the gold standard for cards nowadays. If you have like a Mike Trout low numbered rookie that's like a parallel auto jersey patch, like you spit on the card and like all this crazy stuff that's on the card, like, and the chances of you getting that are slim to none. So I really do agree with you on the sports cards. Like at this point, it's a hobby of passion more than money making, unless you're doing it by bulk and you're an actual dealer. I think you can make money that way. But I do it's almost like a lottery ticket to me. When I do the buyouts of certain players that have potential, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put all my money on red, this amount of money, and worst comes to worst, I can get rid of it for about what I bought it for, whenever I want. So it's not really a risk to me.
That's a good analogy. Like if you go in and buy, let's say, a blaster box, $20, it's a $20 scratch off. You're hoping for a big hit out of there. Now, If I get that big hit, if the market's hot, I'm selling. As a collector, it's great, but I'm not going to hold on to that card because I'm a TTM guy. I like to get through the mail, buying something, getting it out of blaster box. It just doesn't mean the same to me.
Yeah, I think the sports card market is definitely a sell market. It's not a hold market. I don't think you can hold on anything unless it's like I said, something like I'm doing. Like it's all about, if you're not making money, you need to sell it and put your money somewhere else.
Yeah, and if you can get it in bulk too, you can get a bulk deal. And
absolutely,
like Mookie Betts, a couple years ago, nobody really cared about him, but now he's MVP and All-Star. His stuff has skyrocketed.
That's what I'm saying. And if you do what I did and buy a crap ton of Mookie Betts when he's okay and shows potential, and then you bet on that horse, you're riding it all the way to the bank. So that's why I do that. I think it's fun. And then I also have somebody to root for, hardcore, because I'm like, I got a financial interest here, and I don't have to pay, DraftKings anything. So, I've always been interested in sports card markets and stuff. Obviously, we're not the best qualified to talk about it because we're not necessarily sports card collectors. We dabble because they have autographs on the cards and we're autograph people. But we could talk a little bit about the deaths. We've talked about this before. We've talked about the window you have whenever somebody passes away on selling. And I found out the hard way in the last month. The window was pretty short for somebody who has signed their entire life, because I had several Stan Lees and I didn't sell one of them. So I had 2 limited edition books. One was listed at the time. One I got in a little bit later and listed, and still for sale. That's because Stan Lee signed everything that moved. I found his signature actually was worth more before he died than after he died, because the market got so flooded that it watered it down to nothing. So if you're in the market for a Stan Lee signature, make sure it's authentic. But right now is a great time to go get it. And that's another one of those things I was going to talk about. If you're looking to buy after somebody passes away, you would think that's a terrible time to buy, right? Like you don't want that's when the market prices go up. Incorrect. After the little market window you have, it gets flooded and the prices compete with each other. People are just trying to get rid of their stuff because they know that this is probably going to be the highest they can get for it. And then they just keep lowering it to get rid of it. And it end up being pretty cheap on some stuff. As long as it's authentic, you gotta make sure it's authentic. Do your research. You can't just buy it because it's cheap. That's a terrible way to buy autographs. But if you have confidence in the signature, know who you're buying from. Make sure they have a return policy where they will pay for shipping to send it back if you get it tested and it's not authentic. That's a very important policy to go by if you're buying from a store, and most stores that are reputable have that policy. But yeah, if somebody passes away, I would say wait 2 days, 3 days, market's flooded, go in there, and you might be able to snipe some good stuff. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it works.
Also, if you catch wind of the breaking news, there's that window. If you can get in there, it sounds horrible to say out loud, but if you can get on, hey, it's breaking news in that short window before everyone's like, I got this, I'm jacking up the price, you can get a good deal because the price hasn't gone up.
Yeah, I actually saw some people welch on Stan Lee deals that they had before he passed away. And once he passed away, they're like, yeah, we're not honoring this deal anymore. Sorry, here's your refund. Yeah, and that's like one of the worst things you can do as a business. They got so much crap for it. Going searching before they pass away is definitely a way to maybe make some money. Like I said, you would have, if you can find it for like $20, like a Stan Lee, you're obviously going to make money. But if you would have bought one for $100 before he passed away, I mean, you're sitting at about the same what you're going to sell it for because you waited too long to sell it. So it's going to take time to ship it to you. You also have to think about that. So if you're thinking about flipping, you really need to get the signature in when they're, I hate to say it, but when they're coughing.
Yeah.
So like that's when you need to think about buying something. I hate to play those markets. I really, because I feel like there's bad karma behind it, but that's what everybody does in the autograph world. If somebody coughs, everybody's buying it up. And I found it's a good place to sell too. Troy, you haven't talked like this entire time. You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't do a lot of flipping, but I did a couple on check out my cards over the summer with a couple people who passed away, and so I bought really low and I marked it up like 4 times, relisted it, or I bought it from someone on COMC, went into my account, relisted it for 4 times what I paid for it. It ended up selling, and then the person who bought it from me tried to do the same thing again, and they're still holding on to them. They haven't sold them yet. So,
wow,
that was a good thing.
Yeah, you got him perfectly in the market there. It sounds like.
But as far as you were talking about the rookies, last year it was Aaron Judge. Everybody was scrambling to find Aaron Judge cards and every little thing. This year it was Ohtani. He had a good product in one of the first releases of baseball cards this year, and people went nuts. And I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars for a 1 of 5, card.
You have a foreign market kicking in with Ohtani too. That's what's driving that price up high.
But what happened during the rest of the year was every single card manufacturer went overboard on putting Ohtani base cards in all these packs and all these different variants, and I just think it got oversaturated with him.
Absolutely. That's what the card companies are good at, oversaturating. It seems like that should be their motto. I mean, they pretty much ruined the card collecting hobby in the 90s and the late 80s due to oversaturation. And I mean, I can understand where they're coming from. There's more demand, so we need to make more. But I feel like there's more creative ways to come up with revenue than just mass producing what people want. Because if you give up people what they want, what they actually want, they're not going to want anymore because it's like you said, there's too many.
Yeah, but I agree with you. If I get a hit, it's going up somewhere. Pretty much,
dude. You can. I mean, you get a hit, sell it for $20. That's like 20 TTMs you can send out. You got like 20 times 3. That's 60 autographs you could possibly get for one hit in a box. I mean, there's ways to flip stuff in this hobby that's smart. And I think if you have something that you're not PCing, which I don't PC a lot, I usually PC with memories and like things that are unique to me. Right. I don't really PC people, but yeah, if I can make money up, for instance, I pulled, I bought myself like 3 boxes of cards for Christmas, and I pulled a Roman coin out of a Ginter box last year. I know this is autograph related, but I flipped that thing for $350. And I was like, holy cow. Like, and then I was able to do so much with that money that, you know, if it was just sitting on my shelf, who knows what it'd be worth, you know, later down the line. That might be something that would hold value since it's not it's not connected to a player. But still, I don't want to take the chance. I'll just take the money, and I can put that somewhere else and make more money.
I did that with one of those WWE 8x10 where you get 5 autographs in a box or something like that.
Right.
A couple of years ago.
Right.
I just decided to pop on it. And I actually got one that I wanted, which was Jimmy Hart. You know, I always wanted a Jimmy Hart. So I was like, okay, I won. And then there were a couple duds like, I can't even think of the guy's name.
Hacksaw?
Like Carlito.
Oh, Carlito.
Who the heck is Carlito? I don't even know who Carlito is. But then the very last one was one of those multi-signed 31 signatures of classic WWF people. And I held on to it for a year, but then I was like, it's gone. And I got, 200 and something for it. So
nice. That's awesome.
And the person was really happy too. So it was like a win-win. But I don't really have a big wrestling, even though I have some up there. I don't really have a big wrestling PC. I just liked it as a kid. So
I think that's something people need to accept in this community. I feel like people have a aversion to people selling things to get things they want. I feel like it's looked down upon where like, well, you're selling something, you got an autograph for somebody and you're selling it. It's like, well, it's my collection. Like the collection is for me. So if I have things I want to move around and get other things that I want, isn't that the whole point of collecting, is having stuff you want? Like that's the whole point, right?
Right. TTMs in general are looked.
Yeah, TTMs are what people get angry over. And the way I see it, the collection is for you. If I signed autographs, if I was a celebrity and I signed somebody some autographs and they traded my autograph or sold my autograph for something else they want, whatever. Like, how does that affect me? Like, if I'm doing maybe signings, it would affect me. And if I'm doing signings, I think it'd be kind of stupid to sign the same way TTM anyway. I mean, I appreciate the people that do it, but if you're trying to make money off signings, doing it for free in the mail, signing the exact same way is a little counterintuitive to doing cons. But like I said, I appreciate the people. But like, I wouldn't care if somebody sold a signature. I think it comes from like self-righteousness from collectors that think they're holier than thou because they don't move any of their stuff. They keep it. And I have a little bit of respect for that. I do. But again, you shouldn't be able to tell me what I should do with my collection. It's my collection, not yours. You do what you want with your collection, and I can think it's cool and do whatever I want with mine.
But there is still some truth to the fact that some people who do sign really hate it when you sell something that they're doing for free. You know, it does kind of, and they might stop signing. You hear about those all the time, and there is truth to that.
Absolutely, but I don't think it's a part of the business. Yeah. It's going to happen. And if they went into TTM signing thinking that stuff wasn't going to get sold, they were a little bit naive going in. I'm sorry, but it's a little,
especially if they're signing 20 different pieces for one person.
Exactly. It's a little more understandable with historical figures. I can understand where they don't understand the market because they're historical figures and not in the entertainment business. I understand, and it's a little more saddening like to see somebody that's a historical figure stop signing because of sales. I'm like, oh man, that person didn't know, and they were signing for people out of the goodness of their heart, and then they got upset about this, and that sucks because it gives us a bad name as collectors to see like a historical person get upset at us due to sales. But it's kind of what happens. I wish there was a PSA we could give to everybody that gets a TTM. Be like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to sign stuff. A lot of people are going to keep like one photo and trade the rest. A lot of people are going to send you like 10 and sell them all. Like it's part of it. You can choose to do whatever you want. You can sign one for each person, You can choose to sign all of them and flood the market, and so it doesn't even matter anymore because you're making your money somewhere else. You can choose to not sign at all. That's all up to you. I wish there was a PSA that could go out to all the people that sign that know what happens with their signature. But I don't know. I guess it's kind of off the topic of our original idea of when to buy and when to kind of sell.
I've only sold TTMs once when I was really hurting, and my biggest buyer was actually Pat Nishak. He bought a few things, which was kind of funny. So.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I mean, like, and that's another thing. People expect people not to sell when they're in a pinch. It's like, oh, I have this pile of money sitting over here, and I need the money to survive. Like, I'm in a bind. Like, people are gonna reach in that pile of money. Like, it's not reasonable to sit there and think that somebody's gonna be like, I have morals when it comes to my collection, and I'm just gonna suffer because I have these morals about autograph collecting. Mm-hmm. Autograph collecting is for the person. You're getting physical enjoyment out of it, getting stuff in the mail every day. And some people get monetary and, you know, whatever. You got to let people do their thing. You can hate on them a little bit, I guess. I mean, you can say, I don't agree with that, but to each their own. That's as far as I would go with it.
So let's get back to buying and selling then.
Yeah, sorry.
One thing I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about that, you know, we've touched on some subject, but just the basic of buying. Where do you buy and where do you sell? Obviously, eBay is pretty much the gold standard in online markets. There's Facebook forums, stuff like that. And one reason I want to bring up this topic about being smart is, you know, Zane touched on it a little earlier about doing your research. There are some good deals out there on eBay. You can find stuff that's certified through companies like Upper Deck, you know, those top tier companies that sign people like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, but you are going to pay top dollar for that. Even on the resale market, you know, if you don't buy it directly from Upper Deck and you buy it from eBay, you're still paying top dollar. If you buy it off Facebook from a collector, because it's got that Upper Deck authentication, you are going to pay top dollar. Same thing with third-party authenticators. If you're going to pick a third-party authenticator, go with one of the big boys, you know, JSA, PSA, Beckett, somebody that has a name in the industry. And we always throw this out there when we talk about third party. It's their opinion. It's a professional opinion, but it's an opinion. It's not, if it's got a sticker on it, doesn't mean that it's completely authentic. We all know that, but that we throw that out there every time we talk about it. But Absolutely. Just be smart with that. Just because something has a COA on it, you know, in the listing, does not mean that it's authentic. And you know, us as collectors know that, but somebody that may be listening that's not a collector, of course, we're coming up on Christmas time. Somebody wants a present for, you know, one of their relatives. They type in autograph, you know, Miley Cyrus, and all of a sudden they see COA on it, and they think, oh, it's legit. And of course, people can print those out on their home printers and get them professionally done, but you know, it doesn't mean anything. So just be smart as a collector or a buyer. And of course, as a seller, you know, just sell if it's authentic. Don't, you know, if you have questions about it, I wouldn't try and pass it along to somebody else.
Absolutely. And like I said, the most important thing as a seller, you need to offer full refund with paid shipping if it doesn't pass authentication. That's the main thing when I'm buying autographs. If that policy is there and the signature looks good, I'm willing to take a risk on it. But if it's not there, that tells you the person who's selling it does not have confidence in their signature that they're selling, because then that means they know they're going to get caught up in a bundle, and they're going to have to pay for shipping back, and then they're going to have to resell the signature. And if it's a lot of money, then they're going to have to come up with that money that they probably already put in their bank account and used. So,
and really if you're buying off, if you're buying off Facebook forums and you're using PayPal, always do, the goods and services. If you have somebody that you haven't dealt with and they say send the payment, friends and family, you have no protection when it comes to fighting it. But if you send it goods and services and it either doesn't show up, someone tries to scam you, or if you have a problem with it, you try and return it, at least PayPal will back you as a buyer. So don't do friends and family unless it is a friend and family.
Right. That's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, and Facebook's kind of the wild, wild west of buying and selling a little bit. The PayPal gives you some protection, but it's kind of like, it reminds me of Craigslist back in the day, but with shipping. It's kind of what I get the feel of. And you really have to know your stuff if you go in there. You can ask for opinions in popular pages, by the way. Take a picture of whatever somebody's selling, and I wouldn't tell them where it is because they'll go buy it before you do. But take a picture of it and post it on Autographs 101, or there's several different places you can. I actually have a page that I run called Authenticate Your Autographs on Facebook. That's supposed to be a group think where people come together and try to give their opinions. Again, only opinion, not certification, just opinions. And you can make your decision from there with extra input. There's several pages that do that, and that can help out with your buying decisions. And you can find some great deals, especially in bulk on Facebook. I found people will be like, I got a pile of cards here, and they'll say, okay, $20 for the lot, and you'll get some great stuff in there because they don't have to pay eBay fees if they're on Facebook, so you can get it at a bit of a lower price.
And a lot of time, those guys that are doing the IPs, that are on Facebook, they'll try and move the stuff at a higher price, let's say on eBay or something. It doesn't sell, so they'll offer it a discount on some of the pages, and just to move some of the stuff, because a lot of those guys are not collectors. They're autograph hounds. It's a business for them. They chase, they get the autograph, they want to move it, and if they can't get top dollar for it, they'll lower the price, and because to them it's in inventory and they don't want overhead. So exactly, a lot of these guys will be like, best offer, okay, sure, get it out of here. Next.
Mm-hmm. And with autograph hounds, it's kind of it got mixed feelings there, because obviously some of the ethics of autograph hounds we've talked about before. We're assholes as collectors, and it tends to bring out the worst whenever you're doing it in person sometimes. But again, without them, the market wouldn't be as saturated, and your prices would go up for paying for a signature. Think about that.
These guys are chasing down people that do not sign TTM. So they're, on Facebook forums or eBay, you have a chance to add somebody to your collection that you can't get through the mail. And me as a TTM collector, I'm pretty in tune with who's signing, but there are people that I can't get, and I want them in my collection. So I have to rely on, an eBay or a Facebook forum, the autograph hounds, that's
Autograph World.
Yeah, that's part of it. You have to buy certain people, because there are people out there that are like, they're not touching fan mail ever.
Mm-hmm. So and the great thing about that stuff, like Mike said, they're getting rid of that usually at a lower price to just move it. So if you are looking to flip, a lot of that stuff is great to flip on eBay. If you're willing to pay that low price for it and sit on it for like 6 months, you can probably easily double or triple your money on some of that stuff if the person's popular enough. Because I know I've done it. I've done it with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Autograph World, and like there's several people I've done it with. You just got to be smart about it. You got to do your research. You got to know what's in demand, what's not in demand, what do people like, and you do that by discussing with people in the community, watching shows like this, or listening if you're on the podcasting. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about buying or selling, and buying low, selling high, when to buy, maybe the trading card stuff, maybe shoot it to another podcast, because we're not as up on that stuff. But go ahead and post it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. One more. Apparently, Stacy's got an Instagram you can post on.
One more quick tip for you guys, and a general rule with autographs: if the deal is too good to be true, it probably is. You're not going to pick up a Bryce Harper for $10. on eBay, a lot of those guys at Forge are going to do it in bulk. They're going to sign 100 Bryce Harpers and sell them for $10 a piece because somebody will buy it instead of trying for one at 100. So just if it's too good to be true, there's probably a good chance it is not authentic.
That's a good point to end the segment on. Let's go ahead and move on to the giveaway. And we had a giveaway last week for the two amazing Hollywood stars, Nick Cannon, right here,
Mr. Mariah Carey.
That's right. And well, I think they divorced or broke up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Kennedy. So the two amazing Hollywood stars there. And the winner for last week was Marvin Ford. Congratulations, Marvin. Just send us your information, message us on Facebook, Autographers Anonymous on Facebook, and we'll get that out to you ASAP. And it turns out the winner of the T-shirt that we gave away, the Autographers Anonymous T-shirt that Mike made, did not respond to us. So we still have the T-shirt. So guess what we're giving away this week? The T-shirt.
The T-shirt.
So to win this T-shirt, we want to know from you around how many autographs do you have in your collection? And you can do a very rough estimate, an exact knowledge of of whatever it is. We don't care. Just give us a number, and we'll be happy with it. That'll be an entry. And you can enter on Facebook. Just go, I think it's community. You hit on the side, and you can post on our Facebook page, or go to Twitter and add us. Again, it's Autographers Anonymous on both. If you want links to them, just go to autographersanonymous.com, and we have links to all of our social media stuff, even our YouTube page where you can watch the video of this if you're listening to the audio version. You can see our ugly mugs. Well, my ugly mug. You guys are beautiful people. Yeah, go ahead and enter, and you can win that awesome T-shirt that Mike made. And yeah, that's that. We're going to move on to another new segment. We're making segments like crazy over here. This one is called the TTM Tool Review. And what I thought on this, what we're going to do is kind of every once in a while get a new service that helps out TTMers, autograph collectors, that could be beneficial to you. And we'll review that and tell you if it's any good or if it's crap. And hopefully with that knowledge, you can become a better collector. This week, we have the Autograph of the Month Club. And Troy tried that out for us. So, Troy, boy, go ahead and give us your little review of Autograph of the Month Club.
Yep. So Autograph of the Month Club, I've heard about this for, I want to say a couple of years, but I never quite pulled the trigger on it, as they say. And basically what it is, it's kind of one of those loot crate type of subscription things. And so in the US, it's $20 a month plus $3 shipping, and you get an autograph. They say it's a movie film autograph person. They don't make any claims that it's going to be a A-lister. In fact, they say it probably isn't when you subscribe. But I tried it out. I subscribed last month, and I got my first package today, or actually yesterday, and I'm going to do a video on this for my channel soon, but it comes in a mailer, cardboard mailer, fairly secure, with another, actually there was another bag inside of it, and then a plastic bag inside, so it's very well protected. And I'll just show you what my very first shipment was, and then we could talk about it a little bit. So you get this letter. I don't know what I did with the letter. Here we go. So you get a welcome kit that kind of says how it all happens on there. And then it actually says here, what do you expect? We work hard to bring a balanced line of TV film actors. Don't expect A-list actors for $20, people. Part of the fun is not knowing who you will get, and sometimes you might not even know the actor.
So do they throw in big names to, like,
once in a while, from what I saw?
Yeah, that's smart. That's what I would do.
They even had right now on a sister site, I think it's autograph.deals. They actually have some specials, and people were posting what their specials were, and they had like a dual signed Nichelle Nichols and Walter Koenig that they got in a package, like a Star Trek theme type thing. So that was pretty cool. But it's autographofthemonth.com. and the owner's name is Marco. Now, here's what I got, and then we'll kind of go back to Marco in a second. He seems like a really cool guy. He's really responsive in emails because I asked him a couple things. So the very first one I got, this is for you, Zane. I don't know why I thought of you when I got this. It's not Ozzy Osbourne, but
the Weasel.
Pauly Shore.
That's
so
cool.
that was this month's autograph. And again, I'll talk about this in a second, but it comes no COAs, but he has stickers on the back right there. And then
it's store COA is what we call it. It's basically
right.
It's an opinion that, and it also gives you a place of origin where the autograph was purchased. You can always go back to and hopefully get a refund if it's not authentic.
So Marco, I don't know if you can see this or if it's backwards. It's backwards on my screen. But he is the owner of Truly Authentic Autographs, and he is also the owner of 258west.com autographs. And so he is, definitely a dealer putting these together, and he signs his own COAs, but they all look pretty good. And this was his bonus for joining. It seems like he sends this out a lot. It's kind of funny. Jason Earls from Hannah, Montana, and Kicking It, which I actually got him on a Kicking It piece a couple of years ago. So I didn't actually mind this. But so when you first sign up, usually you get a bonus item and then the monthly item. But I decided to try it. And yeah, I think I'll keep doing it for a few more months and see how it goes.
You get 2 your first time? Is that what you got?
Right. And then one month after that.
So I recognize this 258 West Authentic signatures because back in the day, I ran across some weird trading cards that were made by a weird company. And that's exactly who it is. I guess he makes some customs and gets them signed by celebrities. And if you go to the 258west.com website, you can hit trading cards and his customs are right there. He used to sell a lot more than that. I think there may be more on here. I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting guy. His stuff looks legit. I remember thinking it was decently priced for legit autographs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got some higher end names on the trading cards. Tom Hiddleston, Karen Gillian, stuff like that. Yeah. So
I can't find, I was searching through Star Tiger and some of the forums, and he addresses probably the biggest complaint in that letter is you're not going to get an A-list. You're not going to get your Harrison Ford for $20. Through the thing, but I'm pretty impressed with it. I think I'm going to keep going for a little while. And as much as I knew about this, I never knew someone who had actually subscribed, and so I wanted to do it.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I've always thought about doing something like that, so I'm always interested in people that actually go and pull the trigger and start little services that do that. What do you think about the COA thing? Go ahead, Mike.
Coming up in a couple weeks, I just made my first purchase. Same type of thing. It's one of the it's a group on Facebook called Zobi, and they have mystery boxes and different categories. So I'll actually have one of the boxes coming in. It contains, I think, one autograph. They do each month is a different theme. You can have, I think mine coming up has something from either The Empire Strikes Back, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or another, could be any one of the themes, and it should be an autograph, or they do the Funko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
They get those signed. So I'll have something to contribute along this line coming up here. I bought the December one, so once mine comes in, I'll be able to
perfect. We'll do a new TTM tool review. Is what the name is. It's such a great name, right? And we could do. I love these box ideas. Those will be fun to review, and we'll also do some services, maybe some address services, maybe one big one called Star Tiger that we could probably do a whole show about. the history of Star Tiger and all that stuff. But yeah, this box sounds pretty interesting. I actually thought it was gonna be a box because usually they come in boxes, but it turns out it's just a sleeve, and that's how you have to start out, right? You have to start out small and work your way up. I wonder how many subscribers he actually has.
Yeah, he doesn't say. I was wondering the same thing. But yeah, if it's okay with everybody, you know, at least once a podcast or once a month, whenever I get one, we won't go into depth, but it'll show up on my what I got.
Yeah, it'll show up in your returns. Yeah, so you guys will know kind of how that's going through the returns throughout the episodes. That'll be nice to have. Okay, well that's I love that segment. We'll keep that going because there's so many tools out there for collectors, and you kind of got to know what to pay for and what to kind of leave behind. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go ahead.
No, I wasn't sure when I opened this. The first thing I thought was Ozzy Osbourne. And then the second thing I thought was Joey Lawrence, and I'm like, oh, it's Pauly Shore because he has.
I actually have a Pauly Shore signed DVD, and that's a really good movie, Son-in-Law. That's what that's
Son-in-Law.
From. Yeah, I love that movie. You guys got anything to promote for this week?
I am making my return to YouTube. Hopefully, I know. So be looking for that. Hopefully I won't fail like I did the last 2 times I tried to put a video together, but I've been sick for about 2 or 3 weeks. And so I'm ready to get back. So you can find those on ttmautograph.com or Troy A. Rudder on YouTube.
Mikey?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything this week because it's end of the year. It's been a very long collecting year for me. I'm kind of burnt out posting stuff on social media. So I've got one more group of photos that are coming in and ready to go out. And I think I've got one more photo order before the end of the year. So I'm just kind of focusing on getting those out. And then next year I'll start back up with the social networks.
You heard it here, folks. If you want to get any information from Mike, you have to watch this show. So.
Right now, yes.
Stay tuned. And as always, I run an eBay store, the Savage Library on eBay, and I also run a business called Fabric Fobs on Etsy, where we have pieces of celebrity clothing, including Luke Wilson's shoes and a keychain, and you can hold it with you all the time. Luke Wilson's shoes in the palm of your hand. So go check that out, Fabric Fobs on Etsy and the Savage Library on eBay. Also, remember, next week we're doing a podcast. I know it's weird, 2 weeks in a row, but we got Christmas and New Year's coming up, so we're doing the 18th. We're going to have podcasts, and we'll be back on the 7th of January. That's it. That's all we got. Just want you guys to take care. All of you autograph addicts.